if you don't recognise me by looking at me, perhaps you can recognise my voice, because for the past 42 years I have been voicing an iconic puppet called Sue the Panda, who's Sooty's girlfriend. In fact, I think I've probably been working with Sooty for longer than anybody else on the planet, and I'm very proud to do so. Now, Sean's asked me to do a very short little thing for his podcast, and I'm very pleased and happy to be able to do it and to speak to everybody and to talk about the changing over from CITV to ITVX, which I understand is happening imminently. I did some other shows for CITV. Well, yeah, I did Art Attack with Neil Buchanan and Andrew O'Connor, who's gone on to produce quite a lot of stuff since then. There was talk about me being that talking head, but in the end, it ended up as a puppet, and I ended up as a human, which I'm quite relieved about, because I don't think I fancied having all that stuff plastered all over me as the talking head. I don't know if you remember it, but it was set in an art gallery. The other thing I also did for CITV was, which I really enjoyed, was Teabag, and that was with Georgina Hale and Kelly Bright, who also worked on Sooty. And in those days, they were great. They were like little plays, and you rehearsed them for a whole week, an episode for a whole week. It was just really glorious. And I played the part of a Russian Tsarina who was very, very, very authoritative and completely bonkers. But it was a joyous thing to do, and it was really great fun. I also remember coming up to CITV with Richard Cadell and spending the day there in the studio and watching how it all worked, which was quite memorable. And I also remember a memorable lunch with Stephen Mulhern, where Richard, Stephen and I decided we would write a pilot of a children's show about a fairground which travelled around to different seaside locations. Unfortunately, that never came to fruition. And it reminded me that earlier on, there was another show that I was pretty much involved with, which didn't come to fruition either, which would have made me a great star in the children's eyes, which was going to be called The Shriek Show. And it was a kind of cross between the Crystal Maze and the Addams Family. And there was Siobhan and Shane Shriek. He was my husband. My son was Sean Shriek, and my daughter was Sharon Shriek. And as I say, contestants had to do all sorts of horrible forfeits to get through this house, which was a very haunted house, and to try and get to the old man at the top of the house. He was horrendous. People were terrified of him, but it was quite a good idea. Anyway, that didn't come to anything either. So CITV shows that haven't actually happened, but it was a great experience. However, you know, the one that exceeds them all, as you know, is Sooty, and I'm absolutely thrilled and delighted that I've been able to stay and be Sue the Panda for so many years. Actually, she's down here on my lap, and she just wanted to pop up and say hello. I'm just going to put her up. There she is. Hello, everybody. Hello. And she's actually in a new dress. Look at that. She has got some lovely dresses, which I've still got from the old days. And this particular Sue was a star in the 90's, so she would have been very much a CITV puppet. And I think this is the prettiest Sue that there is. When she first started, she had a very much smaller head, but I think she's a lovely girl. Thanks for watching, and lots of love to you all, and keep watching Sooty on ITVX. Bye bye.